Veni. Grab yourself the chakalaka Vos for only 40 emalangeni, 1 kg pork for 75 emalangeni, stewed beef cubed for 95 emalangeni, and the SMI Vos for only 75 emalangeni. Head over to any MB Veni meat market store and get stocked up before it's all gone. The sale ends on the 31st of December 2023. MB Veni, making meal times special.
This is Eswatini TV News at 8 live from Babane. I am Notilisi Tole alongside Zamanzimanze. First up, here's a look at our headlining stories. His Majesty King Eswatini III has commissioned Tingaja from the whole region to march to Ngabeveni Ra residence. Throngs of Eswatini joined Her Majesty the Queen Mother in song and dance on the 13th day of the Little Ingwala at Eswatini Ra residence. The Ministry of Health has reported a total of 44 babies born on Christmas Day so far. Good evening and thank you for joining us. His Majesty King Eswatini III has commissioned the Tingaja Regiment from the whole region to march to Ngabeveni Ra residence. The commissioning event took place at Buhleni Ra residence. His Majesty will welcome the regiment when it arrives at Ngabeveni on Tuesday.
The Inkwala ceremony has matured into its next phase after His Majesty the King commissioned the regiment to march to Ngabeveni royal residence. This development sets the stage for the main Inkwala, which will be celebrated in the next coming days. The commissioning event was characterized by colorful dancing that took place within the royal residence. His Majesty the King danced joined by Makhosigati, their Royal Highnesses, Princes and Princesses, the Prime Minister, and all regimental formations. His Majesty commissioned the regiment through Indvuna Panginjobo Matisa, who also announced where it will be spending the night.
Majaha itsingba sanginitshele siniyawulala kuba bemphathe eluhlawini. Iyawuhlangana nani kusasa engabazweni. Okay.
It was a beautiful sight to behold as the Dingaja filtered out of the royal residence in high spirits, singing and whistling as they headed to Ngabeveni. His Majesty the King appreciated the youthful regiment as it left the royal residence. The regiment will arrive at Ngabezweni on Tuesday. Monday's development includes thousands of other Dingaja in all the corners of the kingdom, as they will also be spending the evening in various chiefdoms across the kingdom. They will also arrive at Ngabeveni on Tuesday evening. On the news, I am Sandile Makanya, reporting from Buhleni Royal Residence.
Throngs of Eswatini attended the Ingwala ceremony event on Christmas Day at Eswatini residence, where they were led by Her Majesty the Queen Mother. Today marks the 13th day of the litter Ingwala.
Eswatini continued to attend Ingwala ceremony in huge numbers at Eswatini Royal Residence, even on Christmas Day, where they were led by Her Majesty the Queen Mother. The weather too did not dampen their spirits. Regiments in different categories danced the little Ingwala in a cheerful and enjoyable manner. Also present in dancing the little Ingwala at Eswatini Royal Residence were the Makosigati to His Majesty, Bokoko Balondolos, their Royal Highnesses, the princes and princesses, members of the cabinet and chiefs. This ceremony has been continuing successfully as the nation attend without fail each and every day. Tourists have also took part in this cultural experience, as many tourists have been seen some days dancing the little Ingwala together with a regiment. Some members of the Ingacha regiment have started arriving at Eswatini Royal Residence, gearing up and preparing for the day on which His Majesty will commission the regiment to go cut Lusegwane. On the news, I'm Polile Mazia at Eswatini Royal Residence.
So far, there are 44 babies born on Christmas Day. This is according to a report by the Ministry of Health on babies born on Christmas Day in Eswatini's health facilities. The report indicates that 23 are females while 21 are boys. The report further indicates that in the whole region, 7 are boys while 6 are females. In the Manzini region, 5 are boys while 6 are females. In the Shiseleni region, 6 are boys while 5 are females, while in the Lubombo region, 3 are boys while 6 are females. The Honourable Minister of Health, Mduduzi Matsabula, visited the Peakspeak Government Hospital, where he showered the Christmas babies with gifts. Speaking on behalf of the mothers that received gifts is Londiwe Shongwe. She says they were not expecting the gifts, so they really appreciate the kind gesture from the ministry.
Siva sijabule kakhulu siyadibongela uMinister ngale tipho besingakathi lutho olunganani but nje siyabonga kulokhu lakasiphe kona.
Mhlawumbe lo wakho umntwana ngibani igama lesumthole nini vele?
Usekelo uMthebule ngithole ngabo past 2 ekseni.
Utaphinza ukuyena next year uphinza waphela umoya.
Angeke ngisi. Angeke ngizafuna khule lona kuqala athi 5 years.
On another note, the Minister of Health, Mduduzi Mathebula, says Eswatini continues to strengthen the fight against maternal mortality. The minister said this when giving an update on what the country is doing to address this issue.
The Ministry of Health says it wishes to ensure that there are no maternal mortalities in the country. The Honorable Minister of Health, Mduduzi Mathebula, says the ministry is working close with strategic partners to lessen maternal mortality. The Honorable Minister says some of these partners donated to the Ministry of Health essentials worth over 7 million emalangeni. Some of the mothers that gave birth at Peak Government Hospital are aged 15 and 17. In Eswatini, it is a crime to engage in sexual intercourse with minors below 18 years old. The Honorable Minister says the ministry is working close with the police and parents to make sure that such cases are dealt with by the law. He emphasizes that the ministry assists such minors without any problems and allow other stakeholders to deal with elements of criminal. When addressing the issue of drugs shortage in health facilities, the Honorable Minister of Health says government is working tireless to ensure that drugs are available by February next year. The Honorable Minister adds that it is the ministry's wish that Eswatini get full medical assistance in health facilities. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Uthemba Shabang, Speak.
Some consumers say their Christmas Day is no longer interesting as yesteryears because of the increasing inflation rate, which has left them unable to buy enough food because it is expensive. The consumers say these days, when spending money on Christmas Day, they make sure that they leave some of it for other pressing needs. These consumers were interviewed at Pixpic Town.
So vangathi lokuspenda funeka sithanda njalo wenta into leti imcoka manje bantu sebancane laba saphataka imali most of them sebayayonga.
That's why nje sekufika nale titolo lomunye agijima athenga etinga yabo.
The consumers say they feel like spending on Christmas Day is wasteful, but instead they should focus on buying important things. They say few consumers nowadays spend cash unwisely. They add that these days they buy with caution as they want to play with money as they will need to buy uniforms for their children. The consumers further add that they prefer to spend on what they dearly need. They made an example that because of the trying times, some prefer to buy bread as compared to ice creams and fried chickens. They say that things have changed as it is not the same as the yesteryears. When one would buy an impressive grocery with 200 emalangeni, they say this is because of the inflation rate.
There are about 6 cases of people who died over the weekend. The Chief Police Information and Communications Officer, Pindile Vilgati, says some of these cases are fatal trafficking accidents. Vilgati says other cases reported were of people being stabbed.
Khona umshayeli weteksi lo aqashwa bathi nabafika ngala kubombolo njeni bamuka imoto yakhe basho ukuthi bebavele bafuna le moto bathatha ke imoto yakhe nemali lebekanayo kanye netincingo bamdubula ke esiswini nasesandleni lokusikhuluma nje uyalashwa esibhedlela siyathemba ukuthi uyawululama kuloko kugula kwakhe.
We can report that from the busy weekend that we had 2 fatal road accidents from the past 24 hours. A 22-year-old man of Fontaine sustained serious injuries while he was in a car boot, and he was taken to Mbabane Government Hospital where he later died. In Mafuteni, a 39-year-old of Hawane was knocked down by a car trying to cross the road, and he was certified dead upon arrival at RFM. A 31-year-old of Makwelela was found dead lying with multiple stab wounds on the body. We can confirm the police will indeed be visible in all the public spaces, and we would like to wish Eswatini a Merry Christmas.
In the face of conflicts erupting in many countries in some parts of the world and the tough economic times, the commemoration of the birth of Christ on Christmas Day should bring hope to brethren around the globe, as Jesus Christ is the Prince of Peace. These were the sentiments of some leaders of the church, which Eswatini TV visited on Christmas Day to capture this year's message to Christians.
The Christmas Mass at the Roman Catholic Cathedral in Manzini was led by Bishop José Luis Ponce de Leon.
We should never be afraid of God. God comes to us as a child so that we may love him. Only love makes space for this child. And as we celebrate the one that comes to us to show us and to lead us into the way of peace, we want to remember all those situations of war all over the world.
Reverend E.G. Dlamini of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Southern Africa, Eastern Diocese, says Christians should pray for all who face different calamities of life for hope, love, and peace to prevail in the world.
But celebrate Christmas in the midst of challenges and in the midst of problems, the atrocities, lamaning, lapho Jesu mele akhule. It's a call bathandzekako ukuthi sonke ukuthi sicabange simbite simfune Jesu ukuthi aphile kuleso simo leso kude siguquke.
The gospel for the day was preached from 1 John chapter 4 at the cathedral and from Hebrews chapter 11 at the Lutheran Church. Reporting, I'm Mbongwa Dube in Babane.
Small and medium enterprises say despite that Christmas Day is a day for family, they fail to do so because they wanted to sell their goods as means to meet their daily challenges, including the high cost of living. Some Asian businesses, or rather business owners, say they opted to relax in their shops as they had nothing to do in their houses.
Some of the small and medium enterprises who decided to operate on Christmas Day say they wanted to make money. Some of them say they wanted to sell their goods before they were damaged, while others claim that they operated because they are now used to go to work daily.
Why? We are just relaxing. Because at home, we make it more like stress and this. Sitting home is stress, but at least inside the shop, at least we are here busy. Work, this, that, at least pass our time. That's all.
We are just sitting at home, nothing can do. We come back to work and we just helping the people. We have specials, and so yeah, the people is coming out.
The University of Eswatini economist Sane Lesbia says 2023 was a tough year because of the high cost of living. He says this is due to high interest rate, inflation rate, as well as COVID-19 effects. He says the economy was trying to normalize and households were greatly affected. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Uthemba Shabangu Mbabane.
Market vendors who trade in fruits and vegetables in some of the country's major markets say they are not making much in terms of sales, despite that the shopping hype is visible in other businesses. When speaking to Eswatini TV, the vendors identified some of the challenges they perceive as the root cause for the low business on their part.
Business is very low when compared to previous years. We have stocked up, but our goods end up rotting.
The
supermarkets are also selling what we have here, and they are killing our business as they pack the vegetables in very small quantities. It's the festive season, but we are not making any profit. Namport bans imports, but fails to supply the market. Tomato is very scarce to find, yet it's one commodity that brings us customers.
Responding to some of the vendors' concerns, Namport's marketing manager Clement Makakula, whom we interviewed telephonically, advised vendors to use Nampot's his app, as all information on available produce and location is uploaded on this platform.
100 million
The about 100 million emalangeni worth of produce by local farmers cannot all be handled by Nampot. That is why we encourage farmers to sell directly to the markets.
According to Nampot's report for the year 2021, Eswatini imported over 26 metric tons of fruits and vegetables. Reporting, I'm Mbongwa Dube with Themba Shabango in Babane.
The nation is encouraged to ensure that they do not get carried away during this festive season by eating unhealthy food. The Home Economics Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture, Eswatini, says people should stick to vegetables, fruits, and less meat. Eswatini, fizzy beverages should be avoided.
The UN Special Report on the Rights to Health blames junk food for the global obesity epidemic, with the alarming increase in deaths from diet-related diseases. About 2.1 billion people worldwide are overweight or obese, and at least 2.8 million die every year because of their weight. The Home Economics Officer from the Ministry of Agriculture, Eswatini, says people should stick to their normal, healthy diets, especially those that have medical advices. Nozizwe says they have noted that around this time of the year, people are usually carried away when it comes to food. They eat junk. Tabete says people should continue to eat as many vegetables and fruits as they can, and also drink water. The Ministry of Agriculture in Eswatini and other multiple stakeholders are rolling out the Taiwan Africa Vegetable Initiative, where they provide indigenous vegetable seeds to encourage healthy meals. Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Babane.
The Eswatini Events Managers and Promoters Association's chairperson Italo Dlamini encourages event promoters to ensure safety while they are hosting different events this festive season. Dlamini says the guidelines that are currently being formulated will help the industry compete with other countries.
Lesikhathi lesikuso sabo Christmas and any other time lefana nalesi. Event managers.
The festive season provides an opportunity for events managers and promoters to make money in this industry. So we encourage them to base their work to the guideline that already exists to avoid certain issues. The whole purpose of IMPA is to smoothen the operation so that the country can meet international standards and be able to compete with other countries. This will allow local promoters to share knowledge. We would like to emphasize on safety. Every event organizer should think about safety before hosting an event.
In our international news, the child referendum held earlier this month on the new constitution has been approved by 86% of voters. This has been announced by the Government Commission, which organized it on Sunday.
Chad's military authorities have called the vote a stepping stone to elections next year, which is a long-promised return to a democratic rule after they seized power in 2021, shortly after the death of former President Mahamat Idris Deby, who was shot on the battlefield during a conflict with insurgents. Many believe that the new constitution will maintain a unitary state. However, critics and several opposition groups called for a boycott of the vote, saying the junta had too much control over the referendum process. Meanwhile, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, following the release of few provincial results, the Democratic Republic of Congo's presidential elections is still facing a crisis of legitimacy amid opposition calls for the vote to be cancelled due to alleged fraud. 5 opposition candidates, including former Governor Moise Katumbi, Denis Mukwege, and former oil executive Martin Fayulu, have called for a protest march against the results next Wednesday. However, counting of votes continues despite the abnormality reported in the general elections. On another note, the city of Bethlehem, which is the biblical birthplace of Jesus, usually hosts holiday festivities deco in this time of the year. But this time, celebrations were called off in the wake of Israeli war with the militant group Hamas. The town normally draws scores of tourists to the West Bank with celebrations at the Mega Square. Instead of colorful decorations and lights in the square, media reports in Bethlehem says where tourists, marching bands, pilgrimages and lights used to be in the previous years, there is barbed wire, grey rubble and Palestinian security forces patrolling the city. Reporting for Eswatini TV, I'm Pendulo Kumbi, visuals sourced from France 24 and DW.
Moving on to sports, Eswatini Olympic and Commonwealth Games Association Chief Executive Officer Maxwell Jeli has ranked 2023 amongst the best years of the movement, following some achievements by the movement, especially the construction of the 2.5 million Emalangeni offices for the association that were officially opened in February this year.
It was indeed a good year for Eswatini Olympics and Commonwealth Games Association and other sporting associations under the Olympic movement. This was witnessed in February when the movement opened officially a 2.5 million facility at the Olymp Africa Lobamba.
We have had as the Woga, where we started 2023 with the official opening of our new headquarters at Lobamba. We also proceeded and we celebrated our Golden Jubilee, which is our 50 years of existence. The year progressed very well, where we initiated several programs. Some of those programs we were actually implementing for the first time. We proceeded and we also launched the first ever youth scholarships, where we dished out 1 million Emalangeni to 7 young athletes who are going to be preparing for the next youth.
On top of that, there was a 50-year Jubilee celebration this year when even the African Olympic movement took part of the celebration. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini Mbabane.
That's all for now. Before I go, here's a reminder of our top stories. His Majesty King Eswatini III has commissioned Tingaja from the whole region to march to Ngabeveni Ra residence. Throngs of Eswatini joined Her Majesty the Queen Mother in song and dance on the 13th day of the Little Ingwala at Eswatini Ra residence. The Ministry of Health has reported a total of 44 babies born on Christmas Day so far. And with that, it's a wrap. Up next is the update from myself and the team. Many thanks for your company. Take care.